Happy Monday, Acadiana, and welcome to another edition of Louisiana Focus. I'm your host, LIDIA ALCALA. Tonight, we hear from several young business people in the area on how they started their own business during the pandemic. We also look at the prospects of this year's NFL draft. And we visit with one special family about the unique role of raising a kid with autism. These stories and more coming right up. As part of the COVID-19 stimulus relief bills, there is a section in the legislation known as the CARES Act. Hannah Adams tells us what students think will happen this coming fall with the CARES Act relief.
After 2 semesters of having a CARES Act refund, the question is, will we have it returned in the fall? Here's what some students have to say.
I feel like we should still get the CARES Act since we are still living in a pandemic as of right now, even though the vaccine is out.
With students' ever-changing financial stability, the CARES Act, the Coronavirus Aid Relief Economic Act, was able to help many students.
Back to normal, but people are still affected with their jobs or anything like that. So I definitely think the money is still needed.
I'm not completely sure. My roommates, they've actually gotten it because they applied for it. I didn't know that was a thing until they said anything. So if they need the money for it, go ahead, but if you don't, you don't. But
do I think we will receive the CARES Act money in the fall? I honestly don't think so. Just because they gave it to us this semester, I feel like when the fall comes around, they're going to just go past that and just try to give us other benefits, but not any kind of money, not the CARES Act money.
College students aren't the only ones affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Tim Didier visited a local middle school to see the changes there firsthand. He files this report.
Here at Broussard Middle School, both teachers and students have had to learn new ways to approach education. Heather Gregory is a teacher at Broussard Middle who's had first-hand experience in how COVID affected the school's workings, beginning in the spring of 2020.
Pretty much that end of the year, the spring, was just a lot of grasping at straws and not really knowing what to do.
How the new regulations were implemented was left up to the individual school districts, leading to some having better results than others.
I think our district flummoxed a little bit when I saw districts like in Monroe, they just kept rolling their school year out to the end. Like they just kept going. They finished their curriculum through online learning.
The school implemented an A-B day schedule to limit the number of students on campus at a time, along with supplemental online material. The shift in the way that students are taught has had an effect on grades.
Nobody was doing anything, and kid-wise, the kids weren't doing their work. As of right now, we have a huge amount of failures, and they're holding them accountable.
Changing the traditional way of teaching and learning has been a big adjustment for everyone involved. This new hybrid learning may be necessary for some time to come. For Louisiana Focus, I'm Tim Didier.
NFL teams have been scouting all season for this one moment, the NFL draft. Our Travis BOUTAIN has more.
The NFL draft begins on April 29th and ends on May 1st, and fans all over have been trying to guess what their favorite teams will do. Big-name college players such as Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Surtain II, Justin Fields, and Devonta Smith will be in this draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the first pick of the draft, and fans and analysts feel as if the prospect they pick is a no-brainer.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get picked because, I mean, dude's a leader. Dude leads the whole team. I wouldn't say carry the whole team, but his stats is out the roof outrageously. He's always through dimes. I mean, you know, he goes to when the scouts come out, dude throws almost 70-yard passes, and they're on the money. I mean, pretty much as does anybody else in the draft. They're not as big as a leader as Trevor Lawrence would be.
The draft is one of the most important events of the offseason, so some teams go all out for this event. The San Francisco 49ers went all out this year. They traded away their 12th overall pick, a 2022 third-round compensatory pick, and first-round picks in 22 and 23 for the Miami Dolphins' number 3 pick. One team that's had a quiet offseason so far is the New Orleans Saints. Saints fans have been mocking and coming up with predictions of what position the Saints should target in the first round of the draft, and the answer always seems to be the same position.
I think the Saints need to pick a cornerback, need to replace Janoris Jenkins. He was very valuable when he played for us. I was kind of sad to see him go, but I understand the business part of the league, so I think that's who we need to get. They got a couple of good guys in the SEC. I can't call the boy's name right now, but I would like to see them. I know his name when I see it, so I would like to see them get that kid.
We'll have to wait until April 29th to see what the Saints and the other NFL teams do in the draft. With Louisiana Focus, I'm Travis BOUTAIN.
And with one sport re-energizing for another season, a small Louisiana town is back playing ball after being shut down last spring. So what was it like being told your season was over? And what is it like to be back on the field again? Blaze Bro gives us an inside look at Lauraville's high school softball team.
A crack at the bat. That was something that you couldn't hear last spring. The Lady Tigers were just one of many teams across the nation to see their season come to a surprising and abrupt end. So what's it like being told that your season was over?
It was really, you just didn't believe it at first, and then, it really hit you that you could have just played your last game and you didn't even know it, and that's what hurt the most.
The hardest part about having the season end the way it did was realizing you wouldn't be playing with your teammates for a long time.
It was hard going into those games knowing that they were the last games we were ever going to play that season, and knowing that the seniors that year, that was their last game.
The unexpected end to the season wasn't just hard for the players. It was hard for the coaches as well.
As a coach and a leader, you go through some pretty difficult experiences. In my 7 years doing this, that was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do was, tell a group of seniors that, their season was over.
While the Lady Tigers were upset that last season was stripped away from them, many are just excited to be back on the field.
It's amazing, it's amazing, and it kind of gives you a different perspective on everything. Whenever you come back after having your season taken away from you, it's like every day is just a blessing.
The Lady Tigers valued their experience from last season because it taught them an important lesson.
Enjoy every moment of it because you really never know when it's your last time playing with those people.
The players even gave a little advice to future athletes who might be in their position one day.
Enjoy it. Don't let the game get bigger than it is.
From Louisiana Focus, I'm Blaze Bro.
If you are a fan of the UFC, then this is a fight that you want to see. Dawson D'Amico has more.
After defeating Conor McGregor earlier this year, Lafayette's own Dustin the Diamond Poirier is set to run it back with the Notorious One on July 10th at UFC 264. This will be the third meeting between the two fighters, with McGregor getting the TKO victory over Poirier back in 2014 and Dustin getting his revenge over Conor 7 years later. With so much buzz hovering around the fight, Lafayette locals Austin Ingram and Jacob Lafleur shared their excitements on seeing their hometown boy finish what he started.
I think Dustin's going to win. I think another TKO. I can see Conor getting tired and Dustin hitting with a body shot. I made the wrong prediction last time, but I think Conor beats him up for 5 rounds and Dustin TKOs him in the 5th. That's my early prediction.
Poirier's ability to adapt from his first loss with Conor and bounce back in the fashion that he did shocked the entire UFC world. And on July 10th, he has the opportunity to do exactly that once again. I'm Dawson D'Amico, and this is Louisiana Focus.
High school, a time where students just want to have fun and get their diploma. But sometimes a student will surprise you, as our own Madeline Cerna found out.
I was just trying to find a way to make money, and I didn't think it'd be that hard to make up a blend. And it took about a couple of weeks. My dad was my taste tester, and we eventually came out with B-Daddies.
17-year-old Brennan Connor, a junior at Jennings High School, wanted to make extra spending money during a pandemic. He decided to start a small seasoning company. Now, his products are in stores all over Southwest Louisiana.
So I would hand mix it in my room, and then I'd put it on Facebook, and they would comment or message me, and I'd go deliver it to their house all around.
Connor's Seasoning is located in Acadia, Jeff Davis, and St. Landry parishes.
I have it in 6 different cities, and the biggest store is Lions Market in Jennings, Louisiana. I've sent my product to 10 different states, from the range of Colorado to Florida.
It's evident that Connor's business has taken off, and his profits are what he has to show for it.
I've profited almost $3 grand.
Most recently, he added a new store to his list, Piggly Wiggly in Rain, Louisiana, which tops Lions Market and Jennings. Connor plans to keep expanding little by little. For Louisiana Focus, I'm Madeline Cerna.
And students at UL are not far off from their own dreams and aspirations of owning a business. Our India Davis has more.
Starting from scratch towards your dream of a business is challenging in every step, but doing it in the early stage of adulthood with COVID-19 as your backdrop is difficult, and even harder if you're enrolled in a college-level course. That's a different ballpark with uniqueness at the focal point of success.
So my business is a clothing line. It's called Sunnyside Clothing. I started my business in early December.
Many of the businesses on campus range from clothing brands to nails to doing hair.
My business is Pinkies and Q. I am a home-based nail tech. I am self-taught. I started my business because I always loved getting my nails done ever since I was a little girl. Me and my mom would go to the nail shop all the time.
But starting your business at a young age means that you have to do it with baby steps, which can be a challenge for most young entrepreneurs during COVID-19.
The pandemic has affected my business in a number of ways. One of the first being that obviously people were a little apprehensive to come to me because I am home-based, meaning I do nails out of my home. And then, people were just worried about safety and things like that. So really a big part of that is just ensuring customers and clients that I'm doing everything possible for them to be safe and that they aren't, that they don't contract the virus. So just using new utensils for each client, making sure that I'm cleaning and sanitizing my station and things like that.
Attending a class can be a challenge, but showing initiative when balancing school and a business is an upstart act for the COVID-19 generation of young adulthood.
It's been a little hard just because a lot of the things I do has to be through email, so I can't really always just go to the place and figure everything out, plus classes and everything else. But we've been getting it done. I just have my little team with me. We've been working everything out, and this is our 4th month, and we're doing pretty good.
Small businesses are the beginning of a new age, and the support from the community will fortify their will and their future. This has been India Davis from Louisiana Focus.
And finally tonight, every year, World Autism Awareness Day is held on April 2nd, and people wear blue to support those on the autism spectrum. I spoke to one area parent raising a 9-year-old that shares both the hardship and love that comes with this special life. Angie Leblanc, the mother of a 9-year-old son, reflects on what it's like raising a child on the autism spectrum.
Raising a child that has autistic tendencies, even though Adams are quite mild compared to what some people experience, is first and foremost never dull, and you just kind of take it day by day.
Ms. LeBlanc acknowledges some of the hardships her son faces in school and other areas of life.
He's had a lot of struggles with interacting with other children, but he's getting better and better at it, and he's becoming more and more social, and sometimes he gets a little intimidated if it's a bigger group, but fortunately at school he's in a very small class setting, and so he's able to flourish a little bit more.
Occupational therapist Leslie Weimer works with children of many disabilities, including autism, and finds reward in seeing their improvement.
I love whenever we're working with a child and they learn a new skill, or they become independent or successful in a variety of areas. It's just extremely rewarding for that.
Ms. Weimer says it's good that people understand the importance of World Autism Awareness Day after it being misunderstood for a long time.
For so long, autism was misunderstood, that they're just like us, and we all have issues that we need, that, you know, bother us, or that we have to compensate for, and that we have to get through, and to not judge people, but to try to help people and support them.
To learn more about autism and how you can help increase the understanding and acceptance of autistic children and adults, visit www.nationalautismassociation.org and light it up blue next year on April 2nd. That's all the time we have tonight. Louisiana Focus is a co-production between the University of Louisiana at Lafayette and Acadiana Open Channel. Our teleprompter is Travis Boutain. Our director is Matt Roberts. Our faculty advisor is Assistant Professor Patricio Salinas, and I'm LIDIA ALCALA. Thanks for watching, Acadiana.